Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT grammar questions out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problems that we are about to solve are the ones that you will find on page number 839. Please turn to it. Page 839, and today is our lesson number 39. These are a series of 18 questions, beginning with question number 12 and ending with 29. Since there are 18 of them, the first 6 are easy, the middle 6 are medium, the last 6 are hard. We did the easy ones yesterday on the previous page, on page number 838. Today we'll do the first column. Those are the medium ones. Let's begin. Number 20, the very first one. The use of irrigation, in the arid area, in the once arid region, let's say, in the once arid region, have increased. As far as we are concerned, that at the end of the sentence, the rest of the stuff that you see there is the boring bits. It says has increased the production of alfalfa. Has increased the production of alfalfa. Let's see what we can do. The use of irrigation in the once arid region. That's the boring bit. We're not interested in that part. Ignore that part altogether. The use of irrigation, well, in that case, we'll have to cross out in also. The use of irrigation. Okay, now watch what happens. The use of irrigation. The subject of this sentence is what we're trying to locate here. What's the subject of this sentence? The subject of this sentence is irrigation. You can ignore that part also. That's the subject of the sentence. What's the verb? The verb appears here. What it says is that irrigation have increased. Irrigation is singular. The use of irrigation, not have increased. The use of irrigation has increased. The use of irrigation in once arid region has increased, not have increased. Irrigation is singular. The subject of the sentence is irrigation, which is singular. Number 2. Unfortunately, the opening of the new library complex previously scheduled for next September would be delayed. For several months because of construction difficulty. It will be delayed for several months because of construction difficulties. The ending of the sentence is fine. There is nothing wrong with it. It has been delayed for several months because of construction difficulties. So whatever is wrong with the sentence is somewhere in the middle, because it's not the end. I say it's either in the middle or in the beginning. Let's see what we can do. The sentence starts out by saying, unfortunately, the opening of the new library complex previously scheduled for next September. It was previously scheduled for next September now it has been delayed. It should say, because we're talking about something that's going to take place in the future, the opening of the library previously scheduled for next September will be delayed. The opening of the library that was previously scheduled for next September will be delayed. If you take out this part here, we'll see. It will make it immediately clear to you that it should be future tense. The opening of the library will be delayed. It will be delayed, and it goes on to say it will be delayed until next September. And it goes on to explain to us why, because of the construction difficulties. But the point here is that it is the future tense that we're looking for. We're looking for future tense here. Not conditional tense here. The opening of the library will be delayed. It will be delayed until next September because of construction difficulty. The answer is C. The answer is C. Let's go to number 22. The opening will be delayed. Number 22. Some of the workers, before we do number 22, let's play a little game here. Okay, pay attention to what we're going to do here. Before we do question number 22, I'm going to give you another question. I'm going to put it on the blackboard and see what you can do with it. Here's the sentence. We're going to make it up. Do you understand? We're going to make it up. We are working on number 22. This is similar to number 22, but it is not exactly like this number 22. We'll do number 22 in a second. Mike, which resent his boss's authority, would probably feel uncomfortable if he was to acquire the independence that he demand. As you can see, this is not the real sentence from the exam, because in the exam you only have A, B, C and D, and answer choice E means that there are no changes required. Here, this sentence has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 portion underlined. I want you to fix this sentence. I want you to read the sentence one more time, pause the video and fix it as much as you want. It has more than one mistake. Okay? Pause the video if you have to. This is how the sentence goes. Mike, which resent his boss's authority, would probably feel uncomfortable if he was to acquire the independence that he demands. First thing first, before we worry about fixing the grammar, before we worry about what is wrong with this sentence as far as the grammar is concerned, our first job is to actually understand what the sentence is trying to say. Do you understand what the sentence is trying to say here? What we are trying to say here is that this guy, Michael, he always resents the authority of his boss, but what the sentence actually claims, the writer actually claims that if you were to actually give more authority to Michael, he probably will feel uncomfortable with it. He probably would not feel comfortable being in the positions where he has so much independence. In other words, what the writer is trying to say is that the workers actually prefer to have somebody else telling them what to do. Even though on the surface it may come across that they resent the authority, but if you were to actually give them more authority, if you were to actually give them more independence, if you were to actually give more independence to the worker, they probably will feel uncomfortable with it because they're not used to being in the position of making so many decisions on their own. That's what the sentence is trying to say. I want you to pause the sentence now and fix it. Let's do it together, okay? Fix it yourself first. First thing first. The very first mistake that we see in this sentence is something that we saw yesterday, which was problem number 17. Problem number 17 we saw yesterday. We discussed it yesterday in yesterday's video that when we're dealing with an animated object, when we're dealing with something that has life, it is to be referred with who, not which. Mike, who presents. Mike is one person. Since Mike is one person, it has to take the proper form of the verb. The verb has to take the proper form. And if it's singular, it should be he resents, not he resent. So far, so good. There are 2 mistakes already so far. Mike, who resents his boss's authority, would probably feel uncomfortable. So far, so good. This is fine. Would probably feel uncomfortable if he were. This should be were. If he were, even though it's only one person, that's the tricky part here. That was the most tricky part here. Even though he is just one person, it would still be were, because it is hypothetical statement. Some of the quirks. English language is very quirky. English language is very eccentric. It has many quirks, many eccentricities, many idiosyncrasies. And one of the idiosyncrasies of English language, one of the quirks of the English language is that when one is speaking hypothetically, then one is to use plural form of the verb even if the subject of the sentence is singular. So you would say, if I were rich, I would buy a Mercedes. You wouldn't say if I was rich. Even if it's just one person, if I were rich, I would buy a Mercedes. So that was another mistake. He would feel, Mike, who resents his boss's authority, would probably feel uncomfortable if he were, it's hypothetical, if he were to acquire the independence that he demands. If he were to acquire the independence that he craves, not crave, that he craves, that he demands. That's it. So how many mistakes did we find? A was wrong, B was wrong, C was fine, D was fine, E was wrong, 3 mistakes, 4 mistakes. So C and D were fine, but the mistakes were in A, B, E, and F. Now let's do the sentence that they give us. I'm going to write down number 22, the way it is written in the book. Some of the workers who resent, which is fine. You see, we have who and we have resent. This is fine. A is fine. Some of the workers who resent their supervisor's authority, would probably, this is fine too, would probably feel uncomfortable if, that is also fine, if they were to acquire, the independence that they demand. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. This sentence is fine the way it is. There is nothing wrong with this sentence. Some of the workers who resent, it should say there, not his, because it's workers now. Some of the workers who resent their boss's authority. Oh, actually, that was the mistake there. Had it been underlined, this would have been the mistake. Had we put an underline, this part of the sentence had it been underlined, that was the mistake there. It should say there because it's workers. Workers who resent their boss's authority. Let's see how they say it. Some of the workers who resent the boss's authority, they do not say there. You see, they just say boss's authority, which is why I was confused. Workers who resent their boss's authority would probably feel uncomfortable if they were to acquire the independence that they so greatly crave, if they were to acquire the independence that they demand. This sentence is fine. There is nothing wrong with it. The answer is E. Let's do 23. Given the strong sense of social justice, given, not the, but rather her, given her a strong sense of social justice, Burns vehemently protested over her party's failure to do the right thing. That's how the sentence reads as far as we are concerned. She vehemently, oh, I almost gave it away. Given her strong sense of social justice, that part is fine. Given her strong sense of social justice, all of this is fine. All of this is fine, and actually it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything, we can ignore it. Burns vehemently protested. Do you see the mistake here? She vehemently protested her party's failure to do the right thing. Did you hear me say the word over? You did not. Burns vehemently protested her party's failure to do the right thing, because this lady Burns has a very strong sense of social justice, and she vehemently protested her party's failure to do the right thing. Now, if you do not know what vehemently means, don't worry about it. This is a grammar question. This is not a reading comprehension question. They're not trying to see, they're not trying to test your vocabulary. They're not trying to see if you know the word. Just understand that we need the word, we need vehemently. This should be ly. This should be ly. Vehemently, it should be adverb, because we are trying to say how somebody protested. Protested is the verb, and this is trying to tell us how we protested. We protested vehemently. And even if you do not know the word, even if you do not know the meaning of the word vehement, it's okay. It's enough for us to realize that it is actually in the adverb form. So it's fine. Whatever it means is fine. Vehement, to do something vehemently means to do something forcefully, to do something with vigor, to do something with passion. To vehemently protest means to protest with vigor, with passion, with force. She forcefully, passionately, vigorously, with a great deal of zeal, protested her party's failure to do the right thing. You did not see me here. You did not hear me say the word over. She protested. That's it. She protested her party's failure. That's wrong. That's what's wrong with it. The answer is C. The rest of the stuff that we see towards the end of the sentence, that wasn't interesting to us. That was the boring bits. She protested her party's failure to support a tax decrease for senior citizens. That was the right thing. Number 24. The friendly competition between my older sister and the competition between my older sister, doesn't have to be older, it could just be sister, between my sister and I was fun. That's our sentence. Let's see what we can do here. The competition between my sister and me. Competition, how would you go around speaking? Would you go around saying the competition was between you and I? No, it was between you and me. It was a competition between you and me. Do you understand? It was a competition of you and I, but it was between you and me. Do you understand? It was a competition between, my sister and me was fun. The friendly competition between my sister and me began as soon as we learned that our aunt had joked that she might write a will leaving her house to me alone. Now, to be in all honesty, I'm going to put a little question mark here. And if I were you, I would ask you to talk to your grammar teachers and make sure that what I just did here actually is proper. I am not 100% sure whether it should be me or myself. Ask somebody. But that's where the mistake is. The I does not sound right to me. Tomorrow we'll begin the problems that you see in the next column, starting with number 25, and those are the hard ones. I will see you tomorrow, okay, on day number 40. Bye now.